Alright, big smile. Is this good? Whatever. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 27 of PinTech Live. I'm Emoto. That's Kyle up there hanging out. There he is.
27?
Yeah, we're on episode 27 already. And as you guys can see, we are going to be introducing a new game today. A new old game. Our new game for PinTech Live. Hello, Bat Out of Hell. Welcome. Oh, Danielle, welcome.
Hey,
Man, it's good to see you guys back. It's like our weekly family reunion for PinTech Live.
I like how Colin emailed us, Colin Baxter, friend of the show. He said the weekly fireside chat. If only I was like a percentage as awesome as Franklin Roosevelt, but you know.
Oh, Pin Daddy's already busting out the Steve Brogy. I gotta make more.
Is Steve
That's a good
here?
one though. Yeah, Steve's here. So first and foremost, our free shipping code. Look, I took your guys' advice with the little ticker at the bottom. Let's see if this works.
Oh yeah.
So our 24-hour free domestic shipping for orders over $99 code is PT-left turn. Turn left. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait.
Okay, because I didn't understand this. Explain why we made it turn left. Because we always try to make our codes like little Easter eggs in relation to the game we're working on. And you and Steve were very adamant about the turn left part.
Because IndyCar, the Indianapolis 500 is like open wheel race cars going really fast, making left turns, like NASCAR but different. And the game even makes fun of it. It just, on the playfield somewhere it says like go fast, turn left. I mean that's all you do. You just turn left. So.
Oh yeah, I guess so, right?
It's a stupid joke.
Do they ever reverse the track so then everyone has to turn right?
That would cause chaos. No one would know what to do. The steering wheels don't turn right. They only go left.
It's easier to turn left because you can like see the road, right? So I can really hug that corner.
Well, maybe in a normal left-hand drive car, but in an open-wheel race car, you're in the middle, so you could turn whichever way.
Turbo Bobby. Yeah, we should have made it PT Turbo Bobby. I'd still turn left. Oh, that's funny. Mage's like, even if you reverse the track, you still turn left. Oh, I know. We need an emoto.
Oh, yeah.
Emote.
Yeah, we need an emotoji. Come on.
I know.
You forced
I don't know
me
what
to
it
have
should
an emote.
It's Australian NASCAR. Awesome. So last week was really cool. Pinball Expo streamed for 4 days straight.
Yeah, that was cool.
They had so much on their programming, and I believe all their programming is going to live in an archive on YouTube. So that's pretty cool. They had Jack Danger did Stern walkthrough. He did this little, I now want to use the term fireside chat with Gary Stern. He hung out with Gary Stern and played pinball, and then they talked about the business and stuff, and it was really awesome.
That was an awesome tour because that was like almost like a 30-minute segment, wasn't it? It was like 15, 20 minutes of walking through the Stern factory and then like 10 minutes with Uncle Gary. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And all the other pinball manufacturers came on and did little presentations too. The Bells and Chimes had a huge virtual tournament. I think they had like 16 players playing at the same time. They had that awesome Zoom screen where it showed all of them. They did a really great job overall. Hats off. My hat's off all day today for the stream because I don't. Hats off to Pinball Expo because you guys really pulled it off. Live streaming is difficult. I got stomach aches hearing that they were going to do live for 4 days straight. I couldn't imagine us doing anything like that. So
we can barely do this live for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, oh my gosh.
You mentioned too that you watched George Gomez's new series, series too.
That was super cool. It's neat learning the ins and outs of the spike system. That was fun listening to him talk about that. If no one's seen it, but I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen that on Stern's YouTube or Facebook page or whatever. They have their own George Gomez sitting down and talking about the hardware in a Stern pinball machine. It's pretty rad.
Yeah,
hearing it
sure.
straight
Yeah,
from well, I mean, I guess George probably doesn't do too much hardware design, probably none at all, but he's an awesome person to listen to.
Definitely. And what else do we have in our housekeeping? Oh, I wanted to bring up, so we have our product slides that we have every time we go on a show, and it's always most of the stuff related to the game that we sell. And just to let you guys know, whenever you see something that's out of stock on our website, do not fret. Not all is lost. There is actually an email me, notify me when this product is back in stock link you can click on right at the top right corner. And that actually shoots us an email and lets us know that there are people wanting this part, so those kind of go up in the priority list of ones that we need to resource or remanufacture or anything like that. Right, Kyle? That's how it works?
Yep. That makes you guys clicking that button makes my job infinitely more complicated. So please continue doing it so I can keep getting all this stuff in stock. And it's live too. Like our website's totally live. So like the second that our receiving guru puts in, like, it's like, hey, it's in stock, it's in the box now, like that product will go live. It's not like on a time delay or anything like that. So sometimes with like strange products or low quantity products that we receive, it is best to kind of get a move on if you do get that email, because, a lot of other people might be getting that email too. So I don't know, something to think about.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And I have one more little announcement, but I'm going to actually wait till the end of the show for that. We'll fill that in the Q&A, some little shout outs.
Hey,
so
one more announcement. This is like week 4 of Kyle begging everyone to switch over to Twitch. I've been looking at the analytics numbers. It seems like most people do watch on Twitch, but we will be switching exclusively to streaming this show on Twitch TV soon. There's no
few people on Facebook right now and on YouTube. I see you.
Yes, and we don't want y'all to
follow us
not be
on
here.
Twitch.
So please go to twitch.tv, search for Marco Pinball, and you can follow us there. The account is free.
Yep.
There is if you hit subscribe, that's different than follow, but we don't need to talk about that yet. So please.
Yeah, don't miss out. Yeah, get on the Twitch bandwagon, because there's a lot of people putting out some great content for pinball. There's so many pinball streamers now, so follow everybody and watch.
There's a lot of good stuff going on, and there's a lot of interesting people to watch play pinball. Some are hilarious, some are very talented, some have fun interactivity with the viewership and such. And then there's us, who just like poke things and take them off of pinball machines and throw them across the room and break stuff and everything.
See, look, it worked, Kyle. We got a few followers. We got Irregix, I like butchering names, and Donkey G Spot 69.
Oh,
Thanks
yeah.
for the follow.
Hey, cool. Someone gift that guy a subscription, please.
Should we make that an emote? Gomelly one. Thanks everybody for the follow. Just moved from Facebook now. Oh, thank you. Awesome. See?
Brad. Hey, thanks.
Thank you. Everyone move on to Twitch. Come join Twitch. Yes. We'll do a lot of fun stuff on here once we're fully integrated. You can call me DJ.
It, right? Kind of.
That. Welcome, DJ. Yeah. All right. Well, are you ready to do your product spotlight?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, I'm going to click over to our intro, and then it'll be back to you. So here is our product spotlight of the week.
Fancy. Wow, wasn't that great? That like production value is through the roof, thanks to Emoto, who's amazing. I don't remember the part number. It's like A-14151 or something like that. But if you own a funhouse, you probably know what this is. This is the ball lock cam and shaft. Let's call it that. The original assembly from Williams, since they did a lot of manufacturing in-house, but they also manufactured things relatively inexpensively. You had a three-piece ball cam and lock, right? So the way Williams did it was they had a shaft, which was then pinned with a collar, and then the disc, the cam that would actually lock the ball, was swaged on top. I'm going to come up to the camera just so you can kind of see the assembly here. So you had a pin here, your shaft that's in the collar that would be pinned to this, the shaft that would be pinned to the collar, right? And then you had this disc that was then swaged on top. So it was basically the metal came up and it was pushed over, whatever. We had these reassembled, remanufactured, where the wear item, which is the disc, can be replaced. This collar is now threaded. This screw protrudes maybe a millimeter, almost 2 millimeters higher than it would be from the factory, but it shouldn't be a problem because there is plenty of space. So you've essentially got a rebuildable unit now, which is nice. But these things are very commonly blown out on one side, or this disc becomes loose in the collar. So anyways, you can get these now. Yeah, show it where it is on Funhouse, right? It's up there underneath the, the gangway ramp or whatever. But it sits up in there, and what happens is, you know, a ball goes in, nestles in that half-moon cutout, and then this thing rotates and allows the balls to escape. So when the balls sit in there, it will damage and make this a blunt shape, which makes it not work well. So available again and upgraded and better. So everyone with the Funhouse, it's time to fix it up.
Nice. That's a really cool piece you make, Kyle.
Yeah, I've been working on this for a few months. These are the projects that are exciting because we couldn't get it done the original way, so we decided to re-engineer it a little bit, and it should be an item that will hold up for another 30 years. So.
Very cool. How many people in the chat right now, out of all 41 of you, have a Funhouse? Anyone?
No one. I see the chat moving not at all. So this is not important for you guys, but...
No, it will be in the future. Everyone wants a Funhouse. But, you know, you get Rudy's face. I'm sure there's a lot of fun stuff to work on Funhouse. Seems like a game you would constantly be working on.
Yeah. I mean...
His eyeball.
If you've never... The game's pretty
Lazy
simple
eyes.
itself, but if you've never done your Rudy... there are things that do need to be addressed with that guy's weird eyes and mouth. I personally like it when Rudy is like super demonic and his eyes are like rolled in the back of his head and he doesn't move them. I think that's much more enjoyable to me. But
it would be fun to do a presentation of just all the different Rudy head mods. Because there's so many different versions of Rudy's face that people have made. There's like the insane clown posse. Yeah.
ICP one's pretty hilarious.
The Joker from Batman, I've seen one of those Rudy faces.
He's terrifying on his own. Like, you don't need to do anything to make Rudy thought-provoking and terrifying and nightmare-inducing.
Yeah, that's what they're saying in the chat. It's too creepy.
It's perfect. See, it's
some people want it. Some people want it. Funhouse always reminds me of that Christmas tree at Bagoo Creek.
What's that?
I don't know, but it sounds like a creepy Christmas tree. I'm down. Send us a picture.
It reminds me of the...
Mitchell Reeder's back, and he's asking about your TNA again. Typical. Well,
So you just like, you start like never showing up again, and now you want to like swoon over me for my TNA? Come on, man. Get your attendance back up.
That will be left over for the Q&A session that we do at the end of every episode after we get our lesson in from Kyle. So with that being said, we have Indy 500 today, and we're going to do a new intro telling you guys all about this game that you've never heard of in your entire life. And we have Crystal to teach us about it. So first, we're going to watch the awesome trailer together.
It's pretty hilarious.
It's pretty great. All right, we're going to now.
Welcome, race fans, to the greatest spectacle in racing. It's a capacity crowd, as always, here at the Brickyard, where the best of the best take to the track to strut their racing stuff. For all those seasoned racers looking to repeat the roar to victory lane, and all those rookies daring to take the trophy, it's time. There's the green flag. Be the first, be the best, be the one to beat with Bally's Indianapolis 500 Pinball. Step up to the challenge of maneuvering this finely tuned track monster. Speed your way through the other cars by completing 200 laps, shutting out your competitors, or racing through the speedway to take the checkered flag. All this while celebrity announcers Paul Page, Tom Carnegie, and Bobby Unser cheer and advise you through every move. Now, start your engine and launch into action by successfully scoring the skill shot up the left ramp. Keep in mind there's a hidden skill shot waiting for the driver who dares to discover it. Get into the racing groove by racking up laps. Make any of the shots marked by these Indy cars, or force the other cars out of the race.
Looks like someone kissed the wall on turn 2.
Just complete this bank of targets and shoot the right loop. You can also score fast laps by rapidly shooting the right ramp as many times as possible.
What a move! That's 75 laps for driver 1.
Check out these infield innovations. We designed these unique light-up targets to be 4 targets in 1. They actually keep track of your hits. Just complete all these light-ups to rack up huge bonus racing points. You can even snag a souvenir of this historic race. Light these lanes to spell out INDY and trigger souvenir. Then race to the left ramp to collect each one. Speed through all the pit lanes and shoot the right ramp once to trigger this skillfully customized diverter. When the diverter catches the ball, you have only seconds to complete your pit stop. Quickly, shoot the right ramp for 2-ball multi-ball.
Out of the pit in under 10 seconds. Wow, what a great pit stop.
Now, gear up for the greatest spectacle in pinball. Turbo multi-ball. First, crank it up with a series of locking shots. Shoot the left loop to light lock. Then, lock 2 balls in this high-revving, speed-multiplying turbocharger to enter 3-ball multi-ball. Now, lock all of these in the turbo within the allotted time and send all 4 balls screaming down the straightaway, scoring super jackpot points.
Jackpot.
Take a spin around this track and take the trophy. Start any one of the 11 Speedway modes by following 3 steps. Shoot the left loop when light Speedway is lit. Fire up the right ramp to select the mode you want. And shoot the right loop to begin the mode that's flashing. Race against the legends of the Indy 500 in dueling drivers. Shoot any one of these 4 flashing cars to pass the other driver and trigger this Indy replica, complete with its own mini track and shaker device. Feel the thunder of the 500, but don't let up for a second. Keep shooting the remaining cars until you shut the competition down.
He'll take him on the outside. He makes the pass.
Go for the pole. With 4 high-speed shots to the right ramp, you can capture the pole position. And if you're fast enough, you can even register your initials in the record books as one of the fastest pole sitters ever. Caution, video mode ahead. Use the flipper buttons to avoid obstacles and debris on the track while picking up bonus point markers and even an extra ball. Successfully negotiate around all 30 obstacles to score huge race day points. Each mode speeds closer to the finish, closer to victory. Claim all 11 and take the checkered flag. Now it's time for a victory lap before it all begins again. Set the pace in a racing machine all your own. Our unique brand of horsepower is designed to satisfy the speed demon in everyone. Experience everything that is the greatest spectacle in racing with Bally's Indianapolis 500 Pinball!
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Crystal. Welcome.
Hi. I'm here.
Can everyone
too.
hear Crystal?
What's that?
Can everyone hear her?
Yeah, can everyone hear me? I'm here. All right. I'm going to tell y'all about Indianapolis 500, just a little bit of stuff, or as it's commonly known, Indy 500. This was released in June of 1995. It was designed by Dennis Nordum, and he did other fast-paced games like Whitewater and Demo Man, and also the Elvira trilogy. And am I missing anything else? There's a bunch more.
Blackwater 100 is the other one.
That's
that
another
comes
fast
to my
one.
mind.
Yeah. Sound was Chris Granner, who's one of my favorite sound designers. Chris did NASCAR and Taxi and Diner and a bunch of other really good stuff. There's also Mike Boone, who did Addams Family. He's on the software team. And there's some really great voice call-outs. The guy who did basically he's the voice of Indy 500. His name is Paul Page. And he's got the famous line, put it in the turbo Bobby, which I think is one of everyone's favorite call-outs.
Oh, I should have pulled call-outs for this.
Yeah,
And just would play
yeah,
all the
it's
call-outs.
okay. We can get next time. And there's some interesting things about the art that I think. So the art package is done by a guy named Dan Hughes, who I can't remember what else Dan Hughes. I had it all in my notes that I've forgotten.
He did Corvette. I think the only game he did other than this one for Williams was Corvette. I only know that from IPDB, but the rest of the work he did was all for Alvin G, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, he did Al's Garage Band.
The styles are so different.
Yeah, really interesting and fun. And this went through some design changes. So there was some promo photos that were taken where the playfield was like this almost baby blue color. And the art that they did for the cab actually didn't have the Bally logo because they weren't sure what company this was exactly going to be released under. So I love the story that Mark Wayne told where he said that he brought the original art to a German distributor, and the German distributor said, these colors are like baby colors. We need to change them a bit. So the playfield was changed to this really cool dark purple. There's also a variant, and you can see when you look at this cab, this is actually one of the alternate side cabs because there's red and yellow and then black, very German flag. And there was a variation on it, which is the gradient. So there's like red going into orange and then yellow with the black. So this one actually has the solid red and black, which I was surprised to see when I came in today. It was really cool. So yeah, that's a little bit about Indy 500. Oh, something else that's really cool is these targets are this is one of the first machines that have targets that light up like this. There's a couple of others, but this is one of the first, so it's kind of a neat little feature that they've got. And there's a fun spinning toy on the top, and yeah.
In the turbo.
In the turbo, yeah.
It's
In
so
the turbo
good.
Bobby.
I'm excited that we picked this game. I love all the racing games. I don't know. I'm not like a huge car person, but when it comes to pinball and racing games, like I love Mustang. I love Indy 500, Viper, night driving.
Yeah.
Right? That game's really
Checkpoint's
awesome.
really
Are you
awesome.
laughing because you don't agree?
I'm laughing because you might be the only person that loves Viper night driving. But
Do you play it with the glow ball, Hamoto?
No, I wish.
Yeah, I like racing
I
games
like-
too, but I also grew up on a racetrack, so they kind of hold a special place in my heart.
Oh, dang. So have you raced in a race car?
No, no. I hung out in the pit lane with my mom and dad, but that was pretty much about it. I've
You
been
have
to
to
a
be.
couple of Indy
Did you ever
races.
learn to change the tires really fast?
Yeah. It's one of the best sounds ever. I love that sound. And the smell. It's too bad this machine doesn't smell like a pit.
yeah, it doesn't smell like race fuel. That would
Yeah,
be nice.
it'd be really cool.
That would be an awesome touch. See, look, there's people in the chat that have a Viper.
Do they have
love it?
glow? Yeah. Do they love it, and do they have glow balls?
That's the real
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, Soundman819 has glow balls.
Yeah,
Who knows what's up?
that is pretty cool.
Ooh, Checkpoint. Hideaway Arcade has Checkpoint.
Checkpoint's
Ooh.
my favorite. If when it comes to like car-ish games, I really like Checkpoint.
I like
That
Checkpoint
game's
and
super
Grand
fun.
Prix, of course.
Yep. Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Oh shucks. Grand Prix is probably my
Dang.
favorite racing game, but I like Checkpoint as a car game.
Yeah.
We can differentiate.
Sure.
Oh,
Anyways.
mTort was saying to spill WD-40 all over it to get that smell.
Almost the
Now he's
same.
saying don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that introduction, Crystal.
Yeah, thank you for
Thanks,
having me.
Emily.
I like talking about pinball, and I
Very
like
fun.
talking about the people who make pinball, so I was glad to be here today. So, and I'm excited to see what Kyle does to make this look not so worn.
Straight out
Yeah,
of the
I'm
barrel.
almost
Yeah.
worried for your jean jacket sleeve because it looks so dusty and
Yeah,
dirty.
it's a little
Look,
dusty.
like the glass is like cleaned where your arm was,
This
so now
thing
you
is
probably have like
disgusting. I think
dust
it came
bunnies
straight out
on
of the
you.
barn.
All right, I'm gonna go back to work.
Okay, goodbye,
Awesome.
Crystal.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Crystal. Goodbye.
Oh,
All right,
so
that was awesome.
look, we're learning everything. We're learning so many things today. Yeah, this game's really gross. I'm excited to
Really
show
good.
everyone like a really disgusting ball machine. We've worked on some games that are like okay, and they've been cared for a little bit, but this thing is like straight gross. So I think I will transition myself over to that side of the building now. I'll probably leave my tools over here, kind of, because we're going to kind of just do some like exploratory stuff, right? I want to see how safe and what we need to do to this poor game to make it kind of work again. So let's see what we get.
Oh, that's awesome. I was like, how are you dragging the camera over like that? You got
My
pulling the whole table.
telekinetic powers that I just gained. So
So look
yeah.
at this dirty game. We're gonna
Yeah.
clean this up. Did you take your
TG.
before photos?
We'll have video representation of how awful this game. This isn't the worst game ever. It's just really dirty. Initial observations. Do we have the small camera on still? No. Hey, put on the small camera really quick. The handheld
Alright.
one. Look at this. We're missing a flipper button. Why?
Oh my gosh.
Who knows? But we are. We've got dented side rails. I don't know. This is a customer's game. It's not mine. I don't know if the customer is going to care to have these replaced, but this happens when the head either slams down onto the cabinet, or it's tightened way too tight, or it's not tightened at all and the head bounces up and down and creates divots like that. That's annoying. I hate changing side rails. What else do we have? We have some cheesy arts and crafts, homemade score and pricing cards. That's nice. We'll get a better shot of the playfield when we take the glass off, but it's pretty gross. It's going to clean up very nice. These diamond plate games really do clean up nicely. So it's all there. It's just really bad. So let's go into the back box. I think we're going to start there because, again, this is a game that we need to verify that it is safe to turn on. We have no headlock. We pan that camera up a little bit.
Oh no.
Like we could try to frame it a little better. We have no headlock. That's common. You definitely want to have a headlock in your pinball game. We've got a lot of very blackened bulbs. That tells me that this game has not been cared for a very long time. When you get bulbs, do we have the small camera on? No, I'll just come up to this camera. You see how shiny and almost silvery this bulb is? This thing's been burnt out forever.
It almost looks like a mini pinball.
Some of them are really beautiful, but garbage.
No, you should save them, and we can make like earrings and necklaces out of them.
Yeah, right. So I haven't looked at this game. We set it up, right off the bat. I noticed I had the guy who owns it set it up. We did find some treasure, like $6 worth of quarters. So that's always nice, make back a little bit what you bought the thing for. But other than that, I have not seen any of this. So we didn't do any Hollywood magic. So this is fun. So we've got an original. So this is WPC security. These games used a special chip that was programmed to not allow you to, the perceived counterfeiting problem that Williams thought was going on, whatever. But the batteries were mounted off the board. Can you zoom in on this guy? I'm going to see if I could bring a light closer really quick, too. Let's blow this thing out with some light. It is dark over here. Oh, is that any better? Can we see this on camera?
Yeah, let's zoom in on there. Shout out to Mike Rubo, who is our camera op for today. Thank you, Mike.
It's nice to have a camera operator again, so thank you for sacrificing your time.
What is that? Is that duct taped? It looks like gaff tape.
This is definitely electrical taped on. The batteries were mounted to this little board here that is mounted off of the computer itself, which was nice because when these things started to leak, generally the big issues were they would just leak onto these connectors here, and then you might have to replace those guys, but still the batteries are on the computer and can cause all sorts of damage. But this doesn't look like it has any nasty, so that's good. Otherwise, it looks all original. Let's see. I mean, obviously, we've got a super, super burnt, mega crispy GI connector. It's so burnt that it came off in 2 pieces. Extra crispy. That's bad. So we know that this thing's going to need to come out. Someone has replaced the Playfield general illumination connector, but just by feel, I don't think that they did the header pins, so we're going to want to replace both of these. I see a lot of mucked up IDC connectors. Someone pressed this one in really sloppily on the 12-volt area, so we're going to definitely want to fix that. We've got a burnt up 20-volt connector here. See that guy? Sorry, it's hard to light these things. This guy's all burnt up. So again, we want to identify these sorts of things before we go in. We can definitely turn the game on with these burnt connectors, but we want to address the fact that they are bad when we start to go in and start changing all this stuff. What else do we have? We're going to want to check fuses. I can almost tell you that these fuses are probably original because they are so dirty. This thing smells like it was somewhere where people smoked for a while too. So there is like dirty, sticky, tobacco tarry dust inside, which is always fun. Otherwise, yeah, no, it looks good.
That's what looks good?
Well, it doesn't look like a rat's nest, right? This game, I hope that the guy that bought this didn't pay too much for it, because this is definitely going to be a lot of labor before we actually, get the game going to make it look pretty, right? It always depends on what your end result is desired, or what your desired end result is, right? It's going to clean up because it's a diamond plate game, but I mean, I see like a ton of broken plastics in here. I see Sorry, I got cables laying all over. I see someone's definitely taken this ramp off because the wires are not, they're not dressed nicely. It looks like someone just kind of threw it back on. So, you know, we're going to have to definitely check. This game's old too, right? It's like almost a 30-year-old game. So we want to undo 30 years of lazy and poor workmanship. This is the first DCS game that we've ever worked on this show. So otherwise, actually, you know what? We've never really worked on a...
What's DCS mean?
Williams went to a new sound system with Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was the first game to use their new DCS sound system. So higher bitrate sounds. The game can play more sounds at once than the older games could. I believe the older WPC games could play like 3 or 5 sounds at one time, where this can play more. It's a higher fidelity, so they sound better. But so if we were looking at this is a WPC security era game. This was the last iteration, I believe, of this board set. So we've got our computer here. This one is unique for this era of game, and it does have a security chip. We've got our Fliptronic board up here in the top left. Ugh, that's super sticky. That's disgusting. A Fliptronic board. All games after Adam's Family were solid-state flippers and have a Fliptronic board. It's a power supply and rectifier for the flippers only. We have the DCS soundboard here. So this is different than what would be in games from like Twilight Zone backwards. We've got our dot matrix board here. You've got your driver board in the bottom right corner, which is the massive board. And this board is the same all the way up until whatever the first WPC 95 game was, which was their last system. Games like, well, I guess the last system that's not Pinball 2000. So games like Attack from Mars and Tales of the Arabian Nights and stuff like that would use the WPC 95 system. But everything looks good here. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to check some fuses really quick. And if anyone has any questions, we can do that while we're popping fuses out.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah,
right.
What's up?
So you just get, and you're basically doing it now, but just to repeat it, you just get this awesome deal on a game, but it comes to you, it doesn't turn on, it's all dirty and smelly and sticky, and you want it to be a nice working game in your collection. What are your first steps? Like, what's the order of fixing things?
Well, like as always, right, when we get a game that's new to us and that has potentially had questionable work, we're always going to want to check fuse values, because that is the #1 thing that people cannot read, right? If it says 5 amp, you're going to have a 10 amp in there. If it says 1 amp, you're going to have a 4 amp in there, right? Sorry, I'm trying to get this light in a good spot so I don't look all mood lighting. Let me see. I might be able to. Is it in frame now? Is that a little bit better? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
A little more light? I know it's goofy over here, but what we're trying to do, again, is you want to, the first thing you're going to do when you get the game home is you want to try and just verify that it's safe to turn on, right? And if you have a fuse that is way overvalued for the circuit that it's placed in, that's going to make your day sad when you start burning electronics up, right? So this is the first step. Before you even plug it in, right? You might be tempted to want to turn the game on, but you know, that's up to you if you want to risk possibly blowing something up. So we're going to check the important fuses first. Like I said, this game looks like it's pretty original. F116. The WPC games have a fuse chart at the top of the game, which is nice because I don't have to remember what values they are. I know that these two are 3/4 and 3 amp because those things are always blown. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Pin Daddy said, just burn it down, collect the insurance, and buy a better conditioned game.
Yeah, that's one way to do it too.
That's good.
I ride the fine line between buying like busted up games and like decent games. I like to buy games that have never been touched by anyone else, and they are just covered in so much dirt that all that dirt is protecting everything, and I still get a good deal on stuff. Because just like that guy that was running for the mayor of New York, pinball prices are too damn high. So always scouting for the deal, but I definitely don't want to inherit someone else's nightmare, you know?
Oh yeah, where's your bent screwdriver at?
Of course, it's in my right hand. Okay, there we go. We have an 8 amp fuse and one of the GI fuse spots, so that makes me want to take all these out. Generally, the GI fuses are the ones that are over fused. This is a blown fuse, so since we saw all of the general illumination connectors were super burnt up, like I'm not even going to address any of that until we start replacing things on the driver board. I feel like we've done so much board work on this show that it's starting to get stale, but reflowing, or replacing the header pins and stuff like that, that might make a good episode for, future people that are trying to fix these games. So maybe we'll work on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that would
If we lose out general illumination, that's not a big deal. We can play the game without the GI for now. That's a 5 amp. Maybe I only found one 8 amp, and that's going to be the only one we find. So, okay, I kind of think it's safe. The flipper fuses, they're all covered in such a thick layer of dust that would be hard for me to show on camera. But I can tell that they haven't been busted out of the game in a while. So
I missed what he's talking about. Pin Daddy said one of the fuses you said it was a high amp for a WPC.
Yeah. These all these fuses here for the general illumination strands are supposed to be 5 amps, but someone stuffed an 8 in there. So again, I can see a lot of dust and crud on these guys, so I don't think they've ever been changed. But that one was really shiny, and it also happened to be the one that was wrong. I'm going to hook all of our ribbon cables back up, even though they are very disgusting and covered in tar dust, which is gross.
And so for something like that, I'm not going to spend the time to clean those ribbon cables. I'm just going to get replacement ribbon cables.
Yeah, this game's old. It's worth it just to replace the ribbon cables. It's not worth. I mean, you could clean them and make them less disgusting, but at this point, you might as well just get new ribbon cables. These batteries.
And keep it for parts. Good call.
They look like they've definitely been replaced, but I'm not too worried about it. We've got a ground. I believe this ground is supposed to go to this guy here. I don't remember. Or no, this ground is supposed to go to the speaker panel somewhere, but it's not important right now. I'm going to get this GI cable out of the way. I think we can safely try to turn this thing on and see what happens. We're missing a screw there. We can see what comes to life, right? That'll give us a good baseline before we actually jump in and start taking the game apart. This game's definitely going to need to come apart. I think we'll show that now too, but let me plug it in. Always check fuses. They're always wrong. I'm going to do this with the insert panel open though. Having the insert panel open will allow me to watch for fuses that might start to glow or watch for magic smoke that is starting to come out from electronic components. So quickly here, we will see what happens.
No magic smoke, no magic smoke, no magic smoke.
We have nothing. Did I leave something disconnected that I wasn't supposed to? Oh, I took out an AC connection here, so that might be why. I believe this is like the 20 volts that gets turned into 12. There we go. More lights came on.
Daniel makes his own ribbon cable.
Yeah, you can make your own ribbon cables. Okay, that was...
Whoa.
It works. It took a long time to boot up, so I'm definitely going to want to check what's going on, why it took so long to boot up. This thing should have done that much quicker. we had a lot of garbage, and we do have some garbage on the display, on the dot matrix compute or the dot matrix display. Those sorts of issues can sometimes be solved. Let's see if we can rush through that really quick. We could have an outgassing display, but what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're going to unseat and reseat all of the ribbon cables. If we're missing one bit of data, it can cause the display to do all sorts of wacky stuff. So this is the dot matrix control board here. There are 2 ribbon cables that do send data to this board, and then 1 ribbon cable that feeds the data from the board to the display. This display looks like it's been replaced because it's missing a bunch of hardware. That's how you can tell someone's been here before. But what I'm going to do really quick is we're just going to unseat every ribbon cable from their header and reseat them. And sometimes that can clear them up. So at least we can get a good baseline on what's going on with this game. Since these things are disgusting, it's just going to get new ribbon cables straight off the bat. And what this is doing is we're removing the cables, and that, it'll take off some of the crud that builds up between the socket and the pin.
Oh. Kyle, we lost your sound. Can you check your mic back? Oh. Hey. Something's happening.
I pulled my microphone out just a teeny bit. I'm sorry.
Oh. He got excited, y'all. He bent over and...
We've still got a lot of garbage on the display. I think this display could be outgassing. But again, we don't want to make assumptions until we replace the cheap stuff, right? I can unplug the data from this display, or I could wiggle this connector and see if it clears up.
Ooh.
Nope.
I did the opposite.
We could have it. This could be the sign of a display that is going bad. But again, we're going to want to replace the $30, $40 worth of ribbon cables before we replace the $100-something display, right?
Because that could fix it.
It could fix it, yeah. It is common for these displays to start outgassing, and they do weird things like this. Usually when a display is missing like a couple lines, columns, or rows, that is when you're maybe missing a bit of data here or there. When it's starting to do stuff like this, we've either got like weak voltage coming from the power supply, which is also part of the dot matrix board, or we have an outgassing display. This display does look like it's been changed, so I'm not sure how we'll troubleshoot, but I know the first step that we'll do is absolutely start replacing these cables because it's cheap and they're disgusting and sticky, and I can't wait to wash my hands, and we just started. Anyways, let's...
You don't have pinball repair gloves?
I don't like wearing gloves. You lose that like tactile feeling when you're like holding small things or you're trying to tighten something. Like gloves are weird for me. I don't know. I do want to peel this off. Let's see. We do have feature lights. I mean, the program's running. It's good. Let's take a look and see what the game looks like underneath. We've got the classic taped coin door.
Let's zoom out a little, Mike. Awesome.
What's up?
We're good.
Oh, hold on. We're going to turn the volume down. In WPC, you do need to do a minimum volume override to get the volume to turn down under 8. So I'm going to do that really quick. OK. Now we can turn the volume way down. All right.
The internal Grammy said, I guess about wearing the gloves, it's like trying to fix a pinball machine wearing a raincoat. Hey, but what if it's raining?
Sometimes you might need a raincoat. Some of these things are so gross nowadays. Ugh, it's gross.
Hazmat suit.
Yeah, this one doesn't need a hazmat suit. I've worked on games that I should have. Between the dead rats and the rat poop and everything in between, you find some wonderful surprises inside of pinball games. Let's see. This game has no balls in it, I hope. Let's lift the playfield up and see what's up. Thank goodness the...
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to work.
Can you explain, even though you're lifting the playfield up, are you able to explain how to do a minimum volume override on the WPC?
Yes. Go... hold on, I'm trying to get this hanging coil to sit somewhere nice. It's a standard adjustment, so go into your adjustment menu, go to standard adjustments, and start scrolling backwards. You'll go from 1 to like 30, right, if you go backwards, and it's right at the end. Switch the minimum volume override to yes, and you could turn it down. The reason that's there is they, you know, a game that doesn't have sound wouldn't earn money. And location owners, if the operator would ever give them a key or something, they would turn the games down really far. So Williams decided to make it so you could not turn the game down unless you change an option, right? I wouldn't want to play a game if I can't hear it.
It definitely changes.
So looking at this, this is nicer than I was expecting it, even though we do have a flipper coil just hanging here, and we're missing a flipper button. It's actually pretty clean and nothing look, well, oh, wow. We've got a pop bumper that's totally grenaded. That's nice. I don't think, let me use the small camera. You can zoom in on it with this.
Yeah. I'm gonna, oh, wow.
See that guy?
Yeah.
That's very bad. And someone, instead of fixing it, just wrapped the signal wire around the other wire. That's nice. These will all definitely be coming apart. Just like we were doing last week on Time Warp, the yokes, the metal and the fiber piece that attach from the ring and rod to the actual plunger, they're always broken. So especially on these Williams games, they're snappy and they break a lot. So we'll definitely be taking all these apart and replacing all of these. It looks like the ring and rod, the threaded end of the ring and rod snapped. So that's why this is foobar. Otherwise, everything looks okay. I'm very suspicious about these flippers. They're extraordinarily worn out. You see all this?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love these old, super screwed up games. They're just like, I love worn out pinball. Look at that one. You see all that free play right there? Maybe you could zoom in on with the big camera on the upper flippers up here. You see all that free play inside that linkage? That is why flippers are weak on most pinball games. The plunger has to move like 3 or 4 millimeters before it'll even start moving. Oh, look at that.
Oh, and it gets stuck.
Yeah, this thing's screwed up.
Flipper rebuild.
Oh yeah, absolutely a flipper rebuild. We've done that a few times, but never on a WPC game, even though it's basically the same as what we have been doing with like roller games and all those other System 11 games. It's just a little different. I'm going to assume that this thing is like this because the, yeah, it is. The threaded portion on the flipper base here, you've got a threaded portion in the back that allows you to screw your coil stops into. That's missing, so we'll need to replace the flipper bases. Let me get one out and I could show as an example of that.
Is it possible, I don't know, Bat Out of Hell had a cool request that I would love to see too, but since you have a dangling coil, we might have to wait. But it would be cool to see a sample of the different playfield positions for the WPC, service and removal positions.
Yeah, no, I can show you that. I'm glad I wanted to mention these later Williams games. I think every game, like, kind of starting around Twilight Zone or Getaway.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, Getaway came before Twilight Zone, right? I think Addams Family has them also. I don't remember. But the lock-in position playfield slides, On old games, and especially, again, I'm just going to call this a barn game, right? The games that, 15 years ago would have gone into a dumpster instead of been bought by a collector to refurbish. When you get an old game, and if the playfield, if you pull it forward and it doesn't latch, don't force it. Let me not get ahead of myself. Let's talk about that really quick, but I wanted to show the flipper base. What cameras are we using? I'll come up to this one. That coil, that flipper coil is hanging there because one of these nuts, they have fallen off, right? So someone was trying to put a coil stop in, this thing fell off, they removed the coil stop and they kind of never fixed it. So the cheap way to fix that is to just put a nut on the back, but the right way to fix it is to replace your flipper base, which we'll be doing on this game.
Nice.
Let's talk about playfield positions. I'm going to I'll put the small camera and have that kind of set up pointed at the playfield since I'll be back to the big camera. But you've got 3 different positions with these later playfields, right?
Zoom out a little, Mike.
What's up?
Asking Mike to zoom out just a little bit. Nice.
We've got our playing position, right? Now, a lot of playfields, older games, right? Electromechanical, solid state games, the early ones, even some System 11 games, right? You pull the playfield up, drag it forward, and then you'll kind of prop it backwards. You'll actually lift the entire playfield, make it totally like disconnected from the game, and you could lift it in and out of the cabinet. Williams did a really nice thing with like a service rail system. So you can have the playfield lock into a forward, front-facing position, right? So with these games, we can lift up on the apron, and you could drag the playfield forward, and you can have an angle, right? You can kind of get inside. This is kind of a useless position, but it's possible. The next step would be to pull it kind of up at an angle like this and forward, and you can hear it lock. There are 2 little locking mechanisms that we can show in the cabinet, but you'll pull forward and snaps in place, which now I can't push it backwards, right? It is locked in this frontal pivot position. So this is a basic service position. A lot of people will work on their games like this, which is what it's intended for. Since I am gigantic, I can work on games with it in its most upward position, like this, which is lovely because I can reach everything at my height. But at this point, switch it to the Logitech cam so we don't have to move the big one.
Yep.
These are your service rails here. These guys, and then you've got this locking mechanism here. But what happens is the grease or the oil that is inside this part that will snap and lock on that peg, it gets dried up. And if it doesn't move and pivot freely, and you're yanking on the playfield, you'll bend them all out of whack. They're expensive, so do not break them. If you feel anything...
How do you unlock it?
To unlock it, we're going to bring the playfield down and just push forward.
Oh, okay.
So on the first motion, right, when we bring it up like this, it gets locked in place. But if we set it down at this angle and push forward, they unlock themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if on PinWiki there is an awesome GIF of how that works. It's a neat system. But part of what I'll do on this game, any WPC game that has these rails will get a service where basically I'll wipe all the grease off of these rails here, apply a teeny bit of new grease, and I will also oil the pivot pin where those arms move back and forth to make sure that they don't ever lock up. That's an important bit of service to do on your game. I don't know why, but like basically every getaway I've worked on in the past 5 years has super mangled playfield pivot lock things. So take care of them and they'll take care of you.
Nice. But out of how he's directing the show today, how about how to take the playfield out?
You need to come on down here and help me do that because it's not fun. You can. Obviously, you would want to unplug everything and have this harness be totally free. At that point, you can get this thing into a position where you can remove the playfield. You mess with the locking bits, and you could bring it up to a upward position, lift it up and out. It's not, well, no, you don't lift it up and out. You would set it down, move it backwards, and then lift it up. It's not fun. It takes a lot of work to get the WPC playfields out. Stern has it right. The new Stern games, they don't have this complicated locking system, but it is so easy to take the playfields out. If no one's ever done that, it's a joy. But when I would have to deliver games upstairs by myself, that was a great way to shed like 100 pounds. So I would do that all the time.
Wait, so when you take the games upstairs, you take the playfield out,
If I'm by myself,
you're just making it as light as possible. You remove the head, take the playfield out.
Yeah, I'll do like a stage 4 like DEF CON removal system, right? Where it's like, if I need to like take some weight off, but also kind of do it easy, just take the playfield out. You save like 100 pounds there, right? If it's really bad, then you could also maybe take the head off. Or stage 4, like crazy mode, is taking both of those things apart at the same time. So you'll just bring a big empty box, a big empty steel box, and a playfield up, and then it's pretty light at that point. But you know, that was the thing. Like, we'd have customers buy games, and then they don't tell you that there's stairs, and you get there, and it's one dude in a pinball game. It's like, oh, and there's like 14, 15, 20 steps to go up. And you're like, great, cool. Oh, and I'm also like 70 years old and have a bad back, so I can't help you. Oh, great, cool. So you gotta find a way sometimes. But yeah, this game needs a lot of work. A lot of it looks like it's just worn out. We will be refreshing as much as we can. I always like, man, that is so bad. That is like maybe the worst flipper crank I've seen in a long time. This probably doesn't have the bushing that goes between this bolt and the link itself. This is crazy. We'll be in for a long one on this one. But I think what we could do today is just start. Generally, I like to do all the dirty stuff before I do the clean stuff. But this game, since it probably needs to come all the way apart, we might be intermixing some of that stuff together. This game absolutely needs a bunch of the top end to come off. To properly clean and get this game to the shopped condition, we've got a lot of broken plastics. This thing will need to come apart. But I don't know, what should we do first? I think it would be more fun to kind of do this stuff later, but try to get the game mechanically sound first. What does everyone feel? What we should do next week? Should it be cleaning or fixing? We do need to do some electronics work too, but I figure since we've been doing so much of that, we could tag that along later. I don't know. What do you think?
All right, in the chat, what do you want to see first? And in the meantime, while everyone is figuring that out and getting off of the GIF and GIF debacle.
Has this just evolved into...
Yeah,
oh, wait. People are arguing about GIF?
Yeah, GIF and GIF.
GIF just doesn't sound right, and the guy that invented the dang thing says it's GIF, so I'm just going with that. That's what I've been using for like 20 years. So.
Pin Daddy's on task. He's paying attention. Asked, would an issue with the WPC lock and latch be the reason the playfield doesn't return to the proper position?
Maybe. I mean, it depends on how mangled they are. I've seen them very bad.
Check it.
So it could be many things. I'm gonna just start taking flipper stuff apart because this needs to come out while we kind of decide. What we do need to figure out though is, again, when I see like one thing that is in like this bad of shape, it makes me nervous that the other bits could be just as bad. Oh, wow. Oh, man, the trough is really cobbled together using incorrect brackets. This is a game where the always be tightening slogan is really going to come in handy. I'm going to take the flippers out first, but I want to get these flipper base plates out because we for sure need to change those things. There will be some constructive learning on this game for sure, though. I'm glad we chose this one.
Colin asked, are you sticking with the IDC connectors or switching to Molex?
Well, if you've watched any episodes where we talk about electronics, we always ditch the IDC stuff because they are evil and awful and do not belong in pinball games. I can go on a
And why are
tirade
they
again, but
there?
I think everyone's heard it so many times now, they're just like, come on, Kyle, shut up.
Yeah, we have MGM Studios. That Indy car has 500,000 miles on it.
Yeah, this Indy car,
Definitely.
this Indy car needs a a professional teardown, and hopefully we'll give it to it. Let's start taking it apart. Heck, even if we're going to do clean stuff, or if we're going to start doing removal of ramps and stuff like that next week, this stuff needs to come off, so we might as well start on it. Ooh, it looks like whoever did work on this game for some period of time did know how to solder, so that's nice.
Oh, that's good.
This is a game that really does require good, strong flippers, though. The game just feels better when it's fast. Dennis Nordman did do some pretty fast games. This is a fun one, though. Is this like... This is a weird game, too, though, because it's like... It was from that era where pinball just wasn't selling. It's crazy when you look at like production numbers that just a few years before, like dog soccer, World Cup soccer, 94, I mean, that sold like 800,000 units, where just a year later, this game barely managed to sell, you know, not even close to 3,000. And lots of
Yeah,
these,
and
like,
all their marketing was, I mean, I guess a lot of their marketing at the time is directed towards the operators, but they were really like all the puns with speed and profit.
the earnings.
That you
Well, yeah,
get.
you have to remember, like, you know, I mean, you have to remember pinball was always marketed towards operators. There was no home pinball market at this time. Like less than 10% of games brand new went into homes. That just didn't happen.
Yeah.
The issue with like these middle Williams games like this is that the older games they earn so well. So when you have, you know, Williams busting out 20,000 Addams families, and you know 3 or 4 years on, those games are still earning just as much as they did when they were new. You know, why would the operator buy a new game? Williams did kind of put themselves out of business because their product was too good. The games that sold well in this era are definitely classics now. You know, like but like Theater of Magics and stuff like that. Theater of Magic sold pretty well in this era, but again, you know, when you think about it, this game came out in what, 1995? 3 years before, you know, they made 2,000 of them. 3 years before, Williams pumped out 20,000 Addams families.
That's so
Right?
wild, yeah.
It's just nuts. It's kind of part because the arcade, like, you know, market was absolutely collapsing at that time. But, you know, again, why would an operator spend $5,000 to buy a new game when their game that's been paid off for years is still earning well? Oh, wait, that's the new one. I was like, wait, there's nothing wrong with that. Ha, I'm dumb. Here's the old flipper base. It looks like someone glued. That's odd. Looks like someone may have glued the flipper bushing screws in.
Oh no.
Why? Probably because they're stripped. But yeah, definitely right on the money. We are missing the other nut on the back of this base. So we will be
That's why it
replacing
fell
this. I'm going to put mine
And
away.
that piece just goes straight into the trash, or can you like repurpose that for later?
The best place for it is definitely going to be the trash. There's an opportunity that I might be able to use this for like a diverter. Or no, I couldn't because this is busted. Again, if you were really cheap, or if I didn't have one, or if it was 9 o'clock on a Friday and this game needed to start earning money, I would just put a nut on the back of this thing and it would still work. But again, when you're shopping a game out, you're trying to make it as factory fresh as it was, right? We want this thing to be serviceable. With a nut on the back of that, it's not as serviceable. We're trying to get it fresh and minty again. So I mean, this isn't going to be like any sort of a restoration, right? We're not going to like tear this thing down and like really make it nice, but what we're trying to achieve is a much cleaner version of what we started with that also functions as, it should.
Absolutely. So while you're doing that, let's go over the list of all the things we need to do. We got to do flipper rebuild.
Yep.
We got to swap out the ribbon cables.
Yep.
To then see if that affects the DMD. Hopefully that fixes it. If not, then we would need to swap out the DMD potentially.
Yeah, that would be the last step in there, but we do also want to check the voltages. In that case, what we would do is we would take a good working known DMD. If we checked voltages and the ribbon cables didn't fix it and the voltages were fine, we would absolutely swap a DMD in there, right? We want to make sure that's the problem before we pull the trigger and spend money and time to install a new item,
Pop bumpers need to be fixed.
Yep.
Swap out all the coils, maybe?
Absolutely not. Coils don't go bad.
That one was exploded, you said. Get out of here.
Well, no, it's just it's the mechanical bit.
Rewound it back? Oh, okay. So the actual coil was fine.
Yeah, 99% chance that it's fine. Coils don't go bad until they do, right? There are times when you can have a intermittent coil, but in a proper working environment, a coil's either good or it isn't. These ones are all fine until they prove themselves guilty. So.
Oh, we have to check the pins on the boards and all the connectors.
Yeah, we have to do some board work on this thing for certain.
What else? Is that it? That should be working. Clean it. You gotta clean it.
Yeah, I mean, other than a teardown, right?
Yeah, any dead bulbs. Swap out bulbs to LED.
Yep, we'll be swapping the general illumination to LEDs. We will be. I'm going to try to get an air compressor because an air compressor is a very important tool when cleaning or shopping a game out like this. It will allow us to clean the inserts. Inserts get very dirty, and the dirt will, end up blocking a substantial amount of light that is supposed to come through them. So we'll definitely want to do that. Again, since this is also for a customer, and it is not just one of our test games that we have, we'll do this to a different standard, a standard like I would be using if, I was going to get paid for this. Well, I am getting paid for this, but, this thing was getting stuck. What's up?
I wish you could have an earpiece that just does like voice to text of the chat when people troll you in the chat. They're not trolling you, but they're trolling you.
I'm telling you to look now. The turbo bomb.
When they go, Kyle 2020.
Hey, that's right. That's my campaign slogan. Look at this plunger. Does this come through at all?
Best advice of the year.
Do you see how mushroomed that plunger is? How much of a lip?
Yeah, it kind of has a...
That's why this sucker was getting stuck. It looks like someone replaced... Actually, it doesn't look like someone's replaced this at all. You can tell the older flipper cranks by the way they've got their, a nut and a bolt, an Allen head cap screw on one side and a nut here. We've been, the ones we've been selling forever have a stud that has this Pac-Man shaped washer. So it's a one-tool installation. This is ancient, and it's also extraordinarily worn out.
Trash.
Yeah, this is straight.
Let's get a new one.
There it is. That's really, literally going straight to the trash. The way I like to test flipper bushings, I don't think I'm going to replace this base. I'm not even going to worry about taking it out. Again, there's no reason to, because it hasn't shown itself to be guilty. But if this flipper bushing is cracked, we will definitely be changing it. The one way I'll test it is sometimes I'll just take a screwdriver. I'll remove the flipper. And what you can do is, actually I won't. Why is holding this up? Oh, the rubber makes the flipper a little too wide to come out from the in-lane guide. Let me pop that off. These flippers are going to get changed. They don't cost anything and they make a game look a lot nicer. What I'll do is I'll take a screwdriver, I'll stick it into the flipper bushing, and I'll torque it lightly in all angles. I'll get this flipper bushing out and I'll show you. But this way we can see and look and see if it's cracked anywhere. They usually crack on this side of the flipper, right? So
we crashed and burned. Oh, because it's Indy 500, and sometimes when you're racing really fast, you drive into a wall and crash and burn, and that's what Streamlabs just did.
It did.
We crashed and burned.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can y'all hear us? Are we good? Are we here?
Are we back? We got so scared. Everything just turned black and dark, and at least there's no fire.
Yeah. I'm just double checking and making sure my laptop isn't like absolutely overheating. Everything's good. Okay, sorry about that.
Dang.
That's weird.
That was horrifying.
Was there a Streamlabs update we're supposed to do?
Yeah, we hit a wall at turn 4 because I didn't turn left. I went right because I was tired of turning left.
And that's not what we do in this kind of racing. Anyways, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Probably flipper bushings.
Still flippers.
Sorry, I want to see what everyone's saying.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry.
Hi. Everyone's saying hi. We're still here.
Yeah, that was dumb. Wow, that's the first technical issue we've had in a long time. Check this out.
I wonder how it comes back up on Facebook. Just a quick reminder since we're back. For everyone on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for tuning in with us. Please follow us on Twitch. Soon we will not be streaming directly to YouTube and Facebook anymore. Getting a Twitch account is absolutely free. There's a lot of other great Twitch streamers out there too that you can follow. So please head over to Twitch right now, twitch.tv/Marco Pinball, and follow us and watch us on there. It's more fun. You get to use cool emotes that you don't get in Facebook and YouTube. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to use all these awesome little emotes of Kyle and Steve and bent screwdrivers?
Yeah, and soon you.
Join us.
Yeah. I see that It's Lit Pinball resubbed. Thank you, kind sir.
Yeah,
our day is going
Space
great.
Cowboys and cookies.
Our day's going great until Streamlabs crash. But okay, anyways.
Oh man.
Pin
Dark
Daddy
Fiber,
says
I got so scared.
Flipper bushings. Okay, flipper bushings.
Yes.
A good way to test them. You can do this with it in the game. Get a screwdriver, stick it through the bushing itself, and then torque it. And what you're doing is you're looking for small stress cracks on the bushing itself, right? So you're looking here along the base. Usually what happens is this separates the actual vertical part of the bushing separates from the flat part. So we're torquing, and it's not breaking. So this bushing's still good, but maybe since we're replacing one, we'll just replace both because the other one might get jealous. I don't know. Anywho, yeah, this one's really bad. I mean, I guess we might as well just start taking stuff apart. Flippers are easy. I don't want to take too much apart. I think we will continue with the mechanical side of things for now. There's so many things that are just like blatantly, obviously, catastrophically bad on this game that we can focus a while here next week. We can at least spend an hour and a half rebuilding flippers. I mean, all links are going to need to be replaced. We need to do this pop bumper, and if we do one, we might as well do them all. And then it's a big rush to tighten things and make sure everything's happy. I do want to check up kickers. When you're checking up kickers, checking for broken springs is important. This diverter here is good. Again, we're always be tightening and always just be touching. Paw things. Make sure that everything's happy. I don't have any broken springs on these. This eject hole. Saucer, rather. That one's fine. We do want to oil that pivot point, though. Oil the pivot points here for the slingshots as well. Yeah. Oh, wow. Hey, here we go. Here's another thing that's catastrophically bad.
Oh, I got a K-pop heart. Oh, my God. I'm going to use that so much. Thank you, Molly Hatchet, for gifting everyone a bunch of cool stuff.
What'd you get?
Some subs, some emotes. I got this awesome K-pop heart. And he's like, holding a heart up here.
Sweet. We have a very exploded slingshot link. Let me take this thing out and see if I can get a good camera angle on it with the handheld cam. I'm going to have to start writing this stuff down. There's like a massive list of parts that I need to buy for the customer.
That's what we're going to do when we get off the show today.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we're almost to our hour-and-a-half mark, even with the crash and burn. So I wanted to go ahead and open up the Q&A while Kyle is pulling some stuff off of the game still. We didn't get into any crazy or specific repairs today. We just wanted to show you guys the game, show you what to look forward to for the next few weeks as we work on this WPC game. And yeah, and come on in with your questions.
Yes.
It could be about this particular game or your other games, or I had a mouse on my face.
I like my Saturday crew. Colin Baxter's been there, Daniel Permonsen from Norway. We've been talking about beer. We got our beer thing going on. That's always exciting. I don't know if I'll be streaming this weekend. Possibly.
Awesome. Thank you, Molly. Pez wanted to know, what's the best cleaning product, Kyle, for your dirty hands? Gojo.
Oh, for the dirty hands, Gojo, absolutely.
Gojo,
I really like that stuff. But I'll be using plenty of soap and water to clean them now. We have a, this is really common, exploded slingshot link. Very bad. We won't be doing much slinging or shotting with that thing being like that. So we will be replacing that guy. This towel's gross. I'm going to use it to wipe stuff off. And again, this is, I mean, I do understand why people like to wear gloves, because this is what your hands look like when you're working.
Yeah, who was it? Pin Daddy said using nitrite.
They just break on me. That's like, I don't like using rubber gloves because they just end up, ripping. There's so many sharp things in a pinball game.
Pin Daddy, I let Kyle stream on Saturdays. A lot of times, well, until he became super pro, I would actually be there on the stream, just not my face, but I would be behind helping him while working on some other Marco projects. Now he's just like, I'm just going to click and stream, and,
I figured it out.
He figured it out. So he can talk about beer with you guys. No flicking off the camera, no cussing, no talking bad about manufacturers or other companies, as long as he's keeping it PC. If you guys ever notice that Kyle is getting out of line, please contact me.
Oh, come on.
MarcoPinball.com.
Me get out of line? Never.
Just say, hey, you should watch this time code. No, but it's great. If you guys are ever around on the weekend, every once in a while, Kyle will do weekend work with Kyle, and he's usually just working on a customer's game, doing board work, and it's a lot more casual setting than this, where this is like, we are here at PinTech Live School.
Yeah, where Kyle's like
how to do things.
Forced to like come up with some sort of a curriculum and teach stuff. The other time, it's mostly me just like messing with stuff until I have something interesting to say. Here's something interesting since it's all out. I always like to oil these slingshot pivots, right? It attaches to the playfield, and then it goes like that. But these pivots can get really gummy, so I'll use my spot oiler, and I will apply a teeny bit of oil in this joint here. Sorry, it's hard for me to hold this stuff in the right spot. Put a little oil here.
And a little goes a long way, right?
Yes, absolutely. You don't need much oil. And then what we can do is just work it in. But now look.
Oh, wow.
It actually wants to work on gravity's side instead of being stuck and sticky. So this is okay. Williams says in the manual that it recommends grease or oil on these pivot points. One of them being the slingshots, the other one being like a ball serve kicker on games before trough. Ball troughs like this. I'll also do this on the other side, and I'll also do this on the saucer kick out too. So
Awesome. Yeah, and friendly reminder from Pez, a little gets on everything if you're not careful. So
Yeah.
don't
Don't go crazy with it. But what I will do is, and sometimes I'll do this with the game on, and you can just let the actual solenoid work the oil in. So just like one drip and then hit the switch and watch it go. Bloop, 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 bloop.
And what's the type of oil you use, Kyle, again? What do you recommend?
I mean, most of the time it just ends up turning into motor oil, but this is a zoom spout oiler. I like it for its, the container is what's very handy. I got this at a Napa Auto Parts. I think it's a pretty common thing. I'm going to reattach this here. I'm just going to leave this game this way, so I'm not worried about things dangling around, but I also don't want to lose parts. So I'll reattach this guy here. We'll need to get a new link. This plunger can also be replaced, or you could just pound a link in. At this point, we do have replacement parts for cheap enough where it is kind of, especially if you don't have roll pin punches, it's cheaper just to put a brand new plunger in instead of just replacing a link. It saves you time. These things don't cost that much money, but we'll see. I might have a couple links laying around and I'll just pin one in. I'm trying to look for other things that are like magically awful on this game. We can tighten things. Are there any more questions? I forgot we're doing Q&A stuff.
Tightening. Yeah, we're near the end of the show, Kyle. Any questions for Kyle for today? There's not really much questions because we haven't really dug deep into the game yet.
Yeah.
But while you guys come up with some stuff, I did want to give a shout out to one of our local arcade restaurants, Bar Arcade, Bang Back Pinball Lounge. They're having a fall bash, right? And I really like the way they set up their promos. So check this out. I'm making it full screen. That's what I'm doing right now. Every month they've been doing a tournament, and this is, yes, you must wear masks, you must sanitize, you must social distance. That's very important. And every month they have a special VIP guest.
How exciting.
And last month they had Raymond Davidson come in from Stern Pinball, and you know him, he's the bone collector, #1 player in the world right now. Sheesh. And coming up next week, it's coming up this weekend already for their fall fun. They have this guest right here. Can anyone guess who their VIP guest is going to be by looking at this screen? Anyone?
I can kind of tell by the hair, but I'm not going to joke. I mean, I'm not going to presume. I'll let everyone else figure it out.
See, I thought it was these little spikes that gave it away.
The spikes? Why the spikes?
Well, it's quintessential this person. No? Anyone? All right, so the secret VIP guest reveal is dun-dun-dun. You hear it here first. Sheesh, words are hard. Dun-dun-dun, Steve Bowden.
Ah, I was right.
He's also a top 10 player in the world. He's a really awesome guy. And he's coming to Columbia. I mean, that's awesome.
That's rad.
I wish I was going to Columbia this weekend.
Do you? You could come. Just get in the car now.
Anyway,
Come
let's
on.
change the subject. I'm just kidding. It's fun.
We can do our fun stop motion project that we want to do.
We will do that.
Okay.
Yeah, but isn't that awesome? So Steve Bowden is coming. I think this is his first time in South Carolina.
Oh boy.
He's going to check out Bang Back, and we'll check out some of the other awesome pinball spots we have in town. Columbia is really growing as a pinball destination. Ooh. I want us to
That's super
have
broken.
Huge pinball community, just growing and growing and growing.
Coming out of nowhere too. We went from having like 2 locations to 2 locations plus like 2 arcades, which is really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like when Phoenix blew up. You know, I would drive through and maybe there's 1 or 2 little kind of smaller arcades. There's not anything really to write home about. But now Phoenix has like 6 or 7, and greater area Phoenix.
Yeah, all of Arizona,
has
really.
a bunch of amazing arcades. You know, shout out to Hideaway Arcade. You guys aren't exactly in Phoenix, but in the greater area. And everyone out there is doing such great things. And also different and unique, which is cool. I love it.
All right. My crazy hair is getting all over the place now.
Dang.
I'm excited to work on this.
Thanks for
I'm excited to
coming
play Indy 500. I want everyone to hear the funny voices and the call-outs. It's a pretty cool game.
Next week, I will have a bunch of call-outs loaded. And we can all secretly troll Kyle while he teaches us.
And I won't be able to hear them either, will I?
Good job.
Next week will be a little bit of what we're used to, but it's good to get these basics and principles nailed into your head so you can...
Yeah.
These, we've got a couple busted of those goofy lit targets that this game uses. That's annoying. There's a couple here in the bottom of the game. You can get these things. They're not super unobtainium anymore. But it's just a housing that has a, this grid pattern. There's a board inside that has 4 LEDs that shine onto each of these squares. So, as you hit the target, more of these squares will light up. The neat thing is it's on a pivot. And these are broken. What it is it's on a pivot. When you hit the target, it presses in, and then a plastic piece goes in and interrupts an opto. So it's just an optical switch, but kind of neat. These are junk, though. The housings can be reused, but the actual, this guy's busted. So the insert's junk, but the housings are okay.
So I'm just going back through the chat, Kyle, and I see a lot of questions I missed during my presentation of Bang Back. And let me just go backwards. I totally forgot Crystal. If you're watching, when Crystal was in the studio with us doing her awesome presentation on Indy 500, I wanted her to also tell us about what's happening tonight with her. But now she's not here. So I guess I'll have to do it. So tonight is the first meet and greet for the new Bells and Chimes chapter in Columbia called the Cola Bells. And it's going to be awesome. They're going to meet up at Bang Back, and they're going to start their awesome Bells and Chimes community out here. So if you're interested in that, check them out on Facebook. Search Bells and Chimes Cola Bells and Chimes Columbia. Crystal, please feel free to drop some links in there if you're here. And yeah, on to the questions.
How exciting.
Destroy Centaur Kyle.
That's me.
That's that. Any idea, this is Pin Daddy's question, any idea what would cause an early solid state Williams game to play the synthesized sounds regardless of the position of the sound switch?
No. Probably.
Moving on.
I guess it depends. Maybe it's either shorted. The switch isn't actually doing anything. So I would check that, right? Like, make sure that the switch, try shorting it yourself. I would assume that, I don't know. I'd have to look at the schematic, but probably because the switch is goofed up. That's what I'm going to assume. Switches can break. But I'd have to look at a schematic. No idea off the top of my head. Williams games are also kind of black magic, so unfortunately, that's the answer.
Nice. Pinball122 asked, what are the black streaks by the back box lights? Oh, yeah, where it looks like the back box is crying.
Wait, what?
Black mascara tears.
Where?
All that black streaks.
Oh, these? That's
yeah, or on the far left. Wait, far right? Yeah. Oh, cable. Yeah, and then some of them are going up.
Yeah, that's like
burns.
That's like burn
right?
juice from blowing up light bulbs and stuff. That's real common on these old games. This insert's actually neat because I noticed that. Look at this very. The angle's wrong. Here, put up the small camera. Look at this very pleasant wood grain on the back of this insert. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
Wrong camera.
Where? Oh, wait. What is happening?
I need to start wearing a hat. I notice my hair's all flopping around. Or get it cut. Come on. You got it.
Oh, it's because when we crashed.
Oh, it never came back up? Okay.
Hold on. Wait. I got you. Give me a second. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, God.
What?
2, 1.5.
Come on. Hey.
1.
All right.
Point.
Now, hopefully
Math
this
is
isn't
hard.
like total. Hey, look at that. Look at that pleasant wood grain.
0.
Nice. Wow.
Oh, wow. That is very pretty. That's the cleanest part of the game.
Yep. Anyways, I thought that
And
was
then it got burn
amusing.
juice on the other side. Wow. All right. Cool.
So yeah, this thing's kind of it's kind of bad. It's kind of awful, but it's going to clean up and it's all fixable. There's nothing in this game that is not fixable that I've seen so far. So that's 2 thumbs up.
Nice. All right. CNK asked, is there a solenoid strength chart on our website?
No.
Pinwiki?
Pinwiki might have something like that, but you can kind of, I mean, to think about the strength of a solenoid, right? It's like the fatter the wire and the less turns there are generally dictates like a stronger coil, right? So a higher number, like Williams, a very common coil used in like every assembly ever, is a 23-800. There's none on this game because they started using a different coil. Anyways, a 23 gauge wire with 800 winds. That's a pretty tough, stout, normal coil. Compared to like a coil that uses a 26 gauge wire, which is thinner. It has more winding. So this one's a 26-1200. I think the resistance almost kind of evens out on those coils. They're almost compatible. It's hard because when you're trying to compare coils against other things, it's sort of abstract. But like, you know, if you wanted to make this slingshot stronger, you could put a 23-800 in there. It would have more oomph. Where the 26-1200 is a little gentler. I don't know. It's kind of, I'm not explaining that well. A coil strength chart, though, that's something we should probably try to poach and...
Midge posted a awesome link to flippers.com/coilresistance.html.
Yeah.
That says it's probably the most complete chart on the net. Hey, where are you going? Get back in the frame.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in general, right, lower resistance is stronger. That's a general basic rule of thumb, but don't take that as law. Anyways.
Nice. Any chance Chicago Gaming will remake Indiana Jones Pinball by Williams? This is the wrong place to ask that.
Probably not. There's a lot of licenses, and that's a big, complicated game. But who knows?
Know. Maybe. Tilt Oslo, I'm trying to follow along what you're saying.
Man, this thing is just beat. How do you do that? I've got my work cut out. Maybe I shouldn't have chosen this game. We should just keep doing easy stuff.
Yeah, well, we're going to go over the format and everything. So anyway, thanks for the awesome show, Kyle. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Everyone did great today. I'm proud of all of you.
Didn't we have a question from our good friend of the show, Mitchell Reeder, at the very beginning?
Oh. Yeah.
He finally comes to join us, and then you're like, oh, we'll do a question later, and then you don't.
Yeah, but I didn't want to get him in trouble. He's at work, right?
He's never gonna come back now.
He's like literally, he'll be back. Mitchell Reader will be back. So one of the fun things we like to do is raid. And again, to the few people that are watching us on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much for watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Soon we're not going to be live streaming there, just to Twitch. So please take the time right now to head over to twitch.tv and follow us at Marco Pinball. It's 100% free. Again, there's a lot of other great pinball Twitch streamers. So you're just going to have a plethora of content to watch. Or you can watch people play Minecraft.
Yep, and sometimes when we actually do stream pinball play, we only do it on Twitch for the most part. Yep.
And another reminder to everyone that our free shipping for orders over $99 code today, for today only, 24 hours, expires Friday. Why isn't it loading?
I think it's like for 23 hours, right?
Turn left.
Turn left.
Turn left. I'm going to put that in the chat. Did anyone see who we wanted to go raid yet?
Yeah, who's streaming right now?
It was awesome. Last week we got to raid Pinball Expo, which was huge.
Yeah, that was easy.
Oh wow, Johnny Demonic's playing some. What game is that?
Yeah, no, go follow our friends in Portland. That's
cool.
always a good stream. What's he playing?
You guys want to go? Let's go see his layout. Yeah. Sound good to everyone? Kyle, get back here.
I'm trying to read what everyone's saying in the chat now here too.
They're not talking. They just want to see you do stuff.
They do.
I
want to see
next
this
week
game come
we
together.
are going to be getting dirty with Indy 500.
I think that's what we're going to call the next show, is like Kyle needs to wash his hands 10,000 times. Indy 500 episode. This thing's gross. I need to get an air compressor just so I can blow the dang thing out and vacuum it. It did its job though. If it wasn't dirty, that means no one's ever played it.
It's a good call. In the pits. Indy 500. In the pits. Sold. I love it. It's
hey, that's a
perfect.
good one.
That's the moneymaker right there.
Hey, maybe that's going to be a good code.
I watched Indiana Jones last night.
Which one?
Guess which one?
You watched Temple of Doom.
Nope. But I love that one.
Which one did you watch?
The Last Crusade.
Oh, of course. Oh,
I find the
duh.
Holy Grail. But then I fell asleep right before the best part when they actually start doing the Holy Grail challenges.
I was playing Indiana Jones last night at Transmission Arcade.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was
Finally watched Goonies, CNK. Goodness,
Yay.
welcome to the party. I'm glad.
Oh man, I think one of those shark bolts just broke on this game.
All right, well, Kyle's going to keep working on this, and we are going to prep for next week's show. We hope to see you all back there next week.
Yes, please come back.
Is it Halloween yet? No, it'll be the day before Halloween. No.
Oh, really?
2 days before. I'm just going to end this show now.
It'll be
I'm a wreck.
spooky.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll dress up.
I didn't say that.
All right, thank you, guys. We're going to go raid. Let's go raid.
I'm already scary enough looking.
Yes.
I was born in my costume.